Discover the incredible moment a millionaire stunned everyone after a poor girl was denied entry. Emily stood at the entrance of the grand gala, her heart racing like a wild horse. She wore her older sister's hand-me-down dress, the fabric scratchy and old, but it was the only fancy thing she had. Her hands trembled as she clutched a framed piece of artwork, a vibrant expression of her world, painted in broad strokes of blue and rich golds. This night wasn't just another party. It was her chance to shine, a dream woven from long hours spent sketching under the yellow glow of her bedside lamp while her mom worked late nights. But as she approached the door, a chilling wave of doubt rolled over her. Ignoring the whispers of ennui swirling around her, she took a deep breath and stepped forward. The bouncer, a towering figure dressed in a crisp tuxedo, looked her up and down, and with a dismissive wave he said, "Sorry, kid. You don't belong here." The door shut with a finality that echoed in her ears, the laughter and chatter of the elite fading like a distant memory. She felt a knot tighten in her chest, tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. Was she always going to be on the other side of the glass? The murmurs of her rejection traveled fast, and soon Mr. Thompson, the event's wealthy host, caught wind of the situation. He had grown up just a stone's throw away from this very spot, never forgetting the sting of exclusion. As he floated through the crowd of shimmery gowns and tailored suits, he caught bits of conversations, mocking Emily for her appearance. Felt like a punch to his gut. Underneath the glitzy chandeliers, dissonance intertwined with elegance. Guests fretted over auction items, debating worth in terms of brands and price tags rather than heart and talent. Mr. Thompson felt an ember of indignation ignite within him. This wasn't why he threw these galas to lift up one another's worth over petty social standings. He stepped forward, raising a hand for silence as a hush swept over the gala. "Tonight is not about the price of your attire," he declared, his voice carrying the weight of his convictions. "I want to share a story, the story of a girl who represents resilience, the spirit of our community." He recounted his own humble beginnings, how he had once faced similar rejection. He paused, looking around at the influential faces, one breath away from hearing what he truly desired to say. Emily's artwork speaks volumes about overcoming adversity. We should raise her up, not turn her away. A surge of electricity danced through the room, leaving swells of emotions hanging like mist. Emily's family, gathered just outside the venue, listened with bated breath as his words washed over them. There was a glimmer of hope in their eyes, fueled by a love that had always surrounded them. "Bring Emily in," he shouted, meeting resistance only with relentless resolve. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." A wave of murmurs spread as whispers turned into hopeful chatter. Was this truly happening? The anticipated moment seemed to stretch forever. Emily's heart raced as she weighed the decision that would change everything. Would she dare to step through the door into a world that had shut her out? As her silhouette appeared against the glow of the venue, eyes widened. Could this moment shatter the boundaries of a small-town divide? With trembling confidence, she took a step forward, risking all she had, ready to claim her rightful place. Would she rise above the shadows that had kept her silent for so long? The room held, his breath, aching for the answer. With each step, Emily felt the weight of the world folding in on her. The doors swung open as though the universe itself had conspired against her. But she wouldn't let that stop her now. She held her art tightly, as if it were a shield against the stares, the judgments, and the whispers that buzzed around the gala like angry wasps. Inside, the light dazzled and glittered, but it felt cold, filled with expectation and snide comments that dripped from the lips of the privileged. Yet as Mr. Thompson's encouraging voice broke the air, all eyes turned towards her. In that moment, everything seemed to pulse with possibility. He believed in her. Could she find that belief within herself? Emily, he called, and her name hung in the space between them like a delicate thread. It gave her strength. Mustering every ounce of her courage, she stepped further into the room. She could hear her family's breaths from the doorway, feel their unwavering support offering her lifelines in a sea of uncertainty. Next to Mr. Thompson, those who had once looked at her with disdain began to part like the Red Sea, their surprise morphing into reluctant admiration. She could sense the shifts, the undercurrents of thoughts racing as they adjusted their perceptions. It dawned on her that their confidence came from a false notion of superiority, one built on what they wore instead of what they contributed. Emily's heart pounded as she reached the center of the room, acutely aware of 100 eyes drinking in her presence. The bouncer who had turned her away shifted uncomfortably under the gaze of a few newly intrigued guests. It was a feeling as heady as it was overwhelming. Then she spotted her artwork displayed prominently nearby. Vibrant blues spiraled into roiling golds, resonating with struggle, yet also reflecting hope, embracing the vibrant reality of her life. She felt the warmth envelop her, igniting her spirit. It's just paint and canvas, she reminded herself, but it's my story. Before she could question her resolve further, she took a deep breath, allowing the art and her past failures to fuel her drive. The crowd was slowly filling with murmurs of awe and admiration, the whispers of one kind soul taking root and transforming skepticism into curiosity. I want to share my story too, she finally said, her voice quiet yet steady, rising above the murmured chatter. Glancing at Mr. Thompson, she saw encouragement in his eyes. This is part of who I am. She opened her fingers, revealing the framed artwork, a piece of herself she had carried with her. Art isn't just for the wealthy or the elite. It's for everyone. It tells stories that need to be heard, stories of resilience, of dreams that sometimes feel too big. In this painting, you can see a reflection of my life, my struggles and victories. The room shifted again. This time, it wasn't just surprise but genuine curiosity that rippled through the crowd. She could hear a soft gasp here and there, a realization dawning. Emily's heart swelled with pride. Maybe this was why she had kept fighting to be a part of this world, to find a voice where silence had lingered for too long. As she continued to speak, she noticed tears glistening in some eyes' faces that had once dismissed her, now looking as if they were reconsidering everything they thought they knew. Would they embrace her? Could she inspire something more than just a moment of pity? But just as she began to feel the first threads of acceptance weave around her, a loud, dismissive laughter erupted from the back. The crowd stiffened. Craning her neck, Emily locked eyes with a sharply dressed woman, whose disdain burned like fire. Who do you think you are? The woman sneered, her voice laced with arrogance. A charity case pretending to be an artist? The laughter echoed cruelly, and for a brief moment, Emily's courage faltered. The warmth that had enveloped her moments before felt cold as ice now. Could she truly overcome that disdain? As her pulse raced, she fought to find her voice once more. Would she let that moment of judgment define her? Or would she rise above this daunting challenge, fueled by the strength of her journey? The room held its breath, caught between the hope of newfound acceptance and a challenge that could throw it all into chaos. Emily's heart pounded in her chest, a fierce drumbeat that echoed the rhythm of her thoughts. One harsh laugh ricocheted through her like a bullet. She felt the weight of the gazes shifting again, judging, measuring, and now, perhaps, pitying her. An invisible thread connected her to the audience, stretching tight with tension. Who do you think you are? The sharp woman's voice cut through the air, shattering her courage like glass. Emily could feel her cheeks flush, a wave of embarrassment crashing over her. She took a step back instinctively, battle-worn but not defeated. Just a girl who paints, she whispered, so softly that only she could hear. But within her, something sparked resilience, fueled by those who had believed in her. Mr. Thompson's steady gaze, full of conviction, anchored her. She couldn't falter now, not with so many eyes, not when hope had lit a flame deep inside her. Clearing her throat, she straightened her back and took a step forward. My name is Emily, And I'm an artist. Her voice rang out, stronger than before. The crowd all but held its breath. Something fierce ignited inside her, a battle cry echoing in her heart. Art isn't about wealth or status. It's about the human experience. It's my experience. The laughter faded to a murmur. She had their attention now. Emily glanced around the room, searching for something, anything to hold on to. She found inspiration in the family who stood by the entrance, their eyes wide with encouragement. Their presence brought warmth back to her heart, reminding her she was not alone. This painting, she continued, gesturing to the vibrant colors swirling in her artwork, comes from my heart. Each stroke tells the story of pain and joy, struggle and triumph. This is what connects us all, not the labels we wear or the elitism that keeps us apart. A few heads nodded, a ripple of connection coursing through the crowd. She could feel the shift again, moving from condescension to curiosity. People began to whisper to one another, the energy thickening in the air like an approaching storm. Then, the woman in the front, unimpressed, crossed her arms defiantly. You think your story matters to anyone? You're just another nobody chasing a dream. Her scornful laughter punctuated the air, but a different sensation flickered inside Emily, a spark of defiance. Yes, I'm a nobody, Emily shot back, channeling the intensity building inside her. But that's the whole point. Every artist starts somewhere. Every person has a story worth sharing. I refuse to let anyone, even someone like you, silencing my voice. Hushed gasps filled the space around her, and an electrifying silence fell. At that moment, time felt suspended. Emily met the sharp woman's gaze, unyielding. There was fire in her eyes as she stood tall, daring anyone to challenge her. Then, a deep voice broke the silence, resonating with authority. "At time we listened?" Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his presence commanding and calming at once. The weight of his words carried a sincerity that rippled through the crowd. Art reflects life, and Emily's life is a canvas filled with lessons we can all learn from. Who are we to scoff at her journey? The crowd shifted, uncertainty mixing with something resembling respect. A wave of apprehension washed over Emily, but she held her ground, her heart racing as hope fought against intimidation. "Share your truth, Emily," Mr. Thompson encouraged, his belief in her lighting a spark in the room. With a deep breath, Emily gathered her thoughts and poured her heart into her next words. She was ready to bear the rawness of her experience. She breathed life into her narrative, wanting them to see the beauty in struggle, the healing in art. Would she be met with acceptance or rejection? The crowd leaned in, and Emily knew the stakes were high, but she was no longer ashamed of her story. She was ready to show them all how powerful vulnerability could be. Just as she began to weave her tale, a sudden tumult erupted from the entrance, drawing every eye away from her. What new twist awaited the people? Gathered in that room? Would the distraction bring them back? Or would it shatter everything she had just begun to build? As the noise surged from the entrance like a tidal wave, Emily's heart skipped a beat. She glanced toward the doors, where confusion and anticipation gripped the crowd. Whispers buzzed through the room like electric currents, but her voice, her truth hung precariously, waiting for the moment when she could reclaim it. The heavy wooden doors swung open wide, and there stood a figure cloaked in an aura of power. A tall man with salt and pepper hair, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, stepped into the gallery, illuminating the tension-riddled atmosphere. The crowd froze, captivated by his presence. No one had expected this. "Excuse me," the man called, his voice deep and steady, cutting through the din. "Could someone explain to me what's happening here?" The sharp woman, still mingling with her disdain, flicked her gaze toward him. "Who do you think you are? This is an artist speaking, if you can call this trivial display art." "Trivial?" The man raised an eyebrow, his expression a mixture of surprise and amusement. "Seems more like raw emotion to me. Doesn't everyone here appreciate creativity? A moment of human connection?" Emily felt her thoughts racing. This man, a stranger, had just stepped into her battle. What if he was just another critic? But then she saw his eyes lock onto her, a mixture of curiosity and encouragement, almost urging her to continue. A flicker of hope ignited. "Let her speak," Mr. Thompson thundered, stepping forward with fierce conviction. "Art is about truth, and Emily is about to share hers. Are you willing to listen?" The powerful stranger nodded, signaling his agreement. "Absolutely. Please, continue. The world needs more authenticity, not less." With that, Emily felt the weight of the crowd shift. For the first time, she sensed a community growing, all leaning toward her, hoping for truth. She inhaled slowly, allowing the moment to wash over her. The crowd was ready, and she had to meet their anticipation with courage. "Growing up, I always felt like an outsider," she began, her voice steady. "Art was my refuge. When life felt chaotic, when money was tight and joy scarce, I painted. Each brush stroke became a way to breathe, to express what I couldn't say. I painted my dreams, my fears, my wild hopes of a life beyond these walls." Gasps echoed softly as people began to share Emily's journey, their expressions a tapestry of empathy and awakening. She could sense the shift. Each story invested in her narrative connected them all, like threads weaving a communal quilt of understanding. "I painted through heartbreak, through moments of feeling unloved," she continued, her voice rising and falling with emotion. "But I knew the world could be beautiful, filled with colors and hope. I took those moments of pain and turned them into something meaningful. That's what art does. Transforms struggle into beauty." As her story unfolded, the eyes of the crowd glistened with recognition. Each listener could appreciate a fragment of their own life in her words. The man nodded along, as if he felt each revelation deeply. Just then, the sharp woman's scornful expression softened slightly. "I've never thought of it that way," she murmured, the defiance draining away. It was a small crack, but it echoed loud in the air. The applause erupted like a wildfire, shaking Emily's core. She had shared herself completely, and they had responded with acceptance. It was overwhelming yet liberating. Each clap raised the volume of hope, letting her know she wasn't alone in her fight. Just when she thought the storm had settled, the wealthy stranger stepped forward again, raising a hand to silence the room. "Hear me now. This young lady's bravery deserves more than just applause. What do you all think about investing in her future, in her art?" The crowd buzzed anew, excited and tentative. Emily's heart raced with a mixture of exhilaration and dread. Was this merely a fleeting moment, or a life-changing opportunity? What would happen next? But something shifted in her gut. Could this really be the moment that changes everything? Emily stared at the man, disbelief washing over her. She had just bared her soul, and now he was suggesting they take a leap into the unknown. Would it really be possible? A million ideas whirled in her mind, flickering like the gallery lights above. The anticipation in the room crackled, mixing hope with a twinge of skepticism. Emily saw faces around her, uncertain yet hungry for change. They exchanged glances, caught in the moment, wondering if the stranger's proposal was a mere fantasy or the start of something extraordinary. "Investment?" A voice piped up from the back of the crowd, cautious but curious. "What does that look like? We don't know her work." The man turned, and with a knowing smile said, "Exactly. That's the beauty of this. It starts with faith. We'll organize an exhibition, spotlight her journey, attract buyers who see value in authenticity." Gasps turned to murmurs as enthusiasm began to bubble in the crowd. For the first time, Emily felt as if she weren't just an artist but a contender in a new world filled with possibilities. The chaos of her earlier nerves felt distant. "I mean, a real exhibition?" she managed to say, the words tasting foreign on her tongue. "Where people can actually see my art." "Yes," he exclaimed, eyes brightening as he took a step closer to her. "Let us show them what you can create when given the chance. You deserve to be seen." Tears pooled at the corners of Emily's eyes, a blend of disbelief and gratitude swelling within her. Those words hung in the air, and she could almost hear the collective heartbeats of the crowd, pounding in solidarity. The sharp woman who had once scoffed at Emily's art stepped forward, her expression transformed. "I'd happily contribute. I want to help elevate voices like yours," she said, sounding genuine. "It's time we recognize true artistry, not just the trends." A wave of encouragement rippled through the room. Ideas flowed. Some offered to provide space for the exhibit. Others promised to get the word out in local publications. Suddenly, there was a momentum rallying around her, a shared vision that felt tangible. As plans began to take shape, Emily took a deep breath. This moment was unlike any other. Freedom buzzed through her veins. It was one thing to paint her emotions. It was another to see them embraced by others. Just as the chatter reached a fever pitch, Emily felt a pang in her chest. What if it all fell apart? What if she wasn't good enough? Doubts clawed at her. Does anyone ever think about what happens when the lights fade? She interrupted the excitement, her voice trembling. What if I can't maintain this? What if I fail? In the silence that followed, the wealthy man stepped back and gazed at her, his expression shifting to one of understanding. "Failure is part of any journey," he said gently, "but you must take the step to find out. It's okay to be afraid, but fear shouldn't hold you back. You will have support. This community is here for you." Emily felt the warmth of his words surrounding her, an embrace of reassurance and possibility. As she looked around, she realized that the fear she felt could transform into something powerful. But with this newfound opportunity, she also knew she must confront her inner demons, the ones that whispered she wasn't worthy. Just then, Mr. Thompson called out, "If we're doing this, let us do it right." "Emily, are you ready?" The question hung between them, heavy with expectation. It wasn't just about art anymore. It was about herself. Could she take this leap and embrace whatever came next? As she caught the eyes of the crowd, her heart pounded. It was now or never. But what if she discovered something far more profound than art in this journey? The energy in the room shifted, thrumming with potential. Emily could feel it, a quiet collection of hope and anxiety swirling as she prepared to find her voice amid the clamor. Looking into the audience, she saw a tapestry of faces. Some wore uncertain smiles. Others gazed at her with unmasked wonder. This was not just a crowd. It was a community, ready to band together. I'm ready," Emily said, each word coming out softer than the last, like petals falling from a flower. But even as she spoke, an internal war waged within her. Who was she to be ready? Did she truly have what it took? What if I fail? The doubts sounded louder now than before, a familiar companion tightening its grip on her heart. But, as if on cue, the crowd surged forward, overlapping comments and queries echoing through the gallery. "Let us help you plan an exhibition. I can connect you with local artists who faced the same struggles." The enthusiasm ignited a flicker of determination deep within her. Yes, it could be a shared experience, a community effort. She remembered what the man had said about faith in herself and the support she had now. "Okay," she said louder, her voice rising above the swell of excitement. "If we're doing this, then I want to make sure it reflects me. My truth. My journey." A wave of applause erupted, and Emily felt herself shine, just a little. Maybe this was not just about making art anymore, but about being vulnerable in front of the people who had once seen her as an outsider. "I need help, though," she admitted, her tone shifting to something tender and real. "I've never done this before. I'll need guidance." "I can mentor you," the sharp woman chimed in. "It's time you take the reins of your own story." The woman's words sparked something within Emily. She was offering support, showing that even those who had once dismissed her now recognized her worth. It was a gift wrapped in vulnerability, a moment of grace amidst the chaos of self dashed out. As they began tossing ideas back and forth, Emily felt a wave of excitement wash over her. Each suggestion brought her closer to transforming her fears into a mosaic of opportunity. Maybe she was ready, after all, not just for an exhibition but for authenticity. But even as plans blossomed around her, Emily felt an aching pull at the edges of her mind. The fear of her past and the memories of doubting herself. What if the world sees me, and it isn't enough? The man spoke again, sensing her turmoil. People connect with stories, not perfect pieces. Show them the real you, the scars, the struggles, the victories. His voice held a conviction that tugged at something deep inside her. Could this really be the path to confronting those shadows lurking in the crevices of her heart? Still, the thought lingered. She had to address her past in order to fully embrace this future. The exhibition wasn't just a showcase of her art. It was a way of connecting deeply with who she was. As the conversation continued and ideas filled the air, there was an electrifying moment just then. A hush swept through the room. The door creaked open, and in walked a figure cloaked in mystery, a man in a tailored suit, looking every bit the billionaire embodiment of dreams. Emily held her breath. Who was he, and why had he chosen this moment to enter? A pick in the rhythm of their planning. She could feel the energy shift again, all eyes shifting toward the newcomer. Just like that, the possibility of change hung heavy in the air, promising a twist she had yet to fathom. But would his presence help or hinder her journey? How would he impact the story she was about to tell? The silence in the gallery deepened, each breath held tight with anticipation. Emily glanced back at the man in the tailored suit. Her heart raced as he scanned the room, his eyes landing on her with a surprisingly warm intensity. She felt exposed, vulnerable. But beneath that unease, a flicker of curiosity ignited. "Good evening," he said, his voice smooth as silk, cutting through the tension like a knife. "I couldn't help but overhear your discussion." Emily's breath caught. He didn't just interrupt. He engaged. She shifted her weight, feeling the weight of breaths around her, the attention on him sharp and electric. "I'm Julian West. I've been told I should be here tonight," he said, genuinely casual yet undeniably commanding. "I came to witness something special and I think I might have found it." He gestured toward Emily, and her cheeks flushed with both pride and embarrassment. Thank you?" She managed to stutter, her voice softer than she intended. The audience's quiet murmurs bounced around them, an undercurrent of speculation swirling. "Forgive me for intruding, but I have a proposal." Julian stepped further into the room, radiating an effortless magnetism. "I'd like to sponsor your exhibition." Gasps echoed, mingled with whispers. Emily's pulse quickened. Was he serious? Sponsorship meant resources, visibility, opportunity. But could she trust someone like him? "Why?" she asked, surprising herself with her boldness. "What's the catch?" Julian smiled, unfazed by her skepticism. "No catch. Just a belief in what you can create. I've seen potential lost out of fear. I want to help you tell your story." His eyes glinted with sincerity, but some part of Emily remained guarded. A stir of voices rippled through the gallery as her community shifted uneasily. "Take it. This could change everything." They were all in it together now. She could feel their collective energy pushing her forward. Still, doubt crept back in. "But I'm just an artist. And what do I have to say that's worth your investment?" "Everything," he replied, his voice steady as he met her gaze. "Your story is the real artwork. You just need to share it." His words reverberated within her, stirring the embers of hope and resolve she had kindled moments before. She glanced around the room, at the artists, at the faces that believed in her. "Let us brainstorm," the sharp woman suggested, breaking the tension as if sensing the urgent shift. "Emily, this could be your moment. But it's about you. What do you want?" Emily took a deep breath, the weight of expectation heavy yet invigorating. "I want to create a space where our stories intermingle, where we can reflect on our struggles and celebrate our victories. I want it to be a journey of healing, not just a showcase of pretty pictures." Julian nodded appreciatively. "Then let us make it happen together. I'll provide you with the resources, but you'll lead the vision." Hesitation lingered, but exhilaration began to drown it out. For the first time, the fear that had sometimes stifled her felt like a whisper, overshadowed by the roar of possibility igniting in her heart. As chatter resumed and their ideas plotted a course forward, Emily took a step closer to Julian. "What do you see when you think of my story? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?" His confused smile flickered for a moment. "I see a girl who's ready to become who she was meant to be, but still holds back the real story. The raw truth of his observation hit her. Would she really dare to uncover that story? The moment hung in the air, ripe with possibility. She felt the crowd's enthusiasm swirling around her, energy shifting anew. The question now danced tantalizingly, waiting for her answer as the weight of her past collided with the dawn of her future. What if joining forces with Julian opened doors she had never thought possible? Or what if it led her into deeper shadows she was yet to face? Emily stood there, a whirlwind of thoughts swirling behind her calm facade. The gallery buzzed with excitement, yet she felt an anchor fastened to her chest. How could she step into this grand vision without letting doubt derail her? "Can I tell you something?" she asked, pretty certain the room quieted just enough to hear her racing heartbeat. Of course, Julian leaned in a little, a look of genuine interest on his face, as if nothing else mattered. "I've always felt invisible," Emily blurted out, her voice trembling. "Like my work doesn't matter. I see artists succeeding, sharing their stories, but every time I try, I freeze. I fear rejection. What if I told you the story you think is invisible is the one people are waiting to hear?" Julian's words came soft, almost a whisper, but they struck her like a revelation. The crowd faded away. Her mind flickered with images, the sketchbook she hid beneath her bed, the unfinished canvases gathering dust. Memories of growing up in a small town, where dreams felt just a little too far to reach. "Your vulnerability is your strength," he continued, those warm eyes locking onto hers. "People connect with real experiences. They want to feel something. Help me help you create that connection." Emily felt the pull. The fire began to replace the fear. She thought about her friends, their stories, all the moments of disappointment and determination. "I want to weave their voices into my art. Not just my struggle, but the tapestry of our shared experience. There is so much pain, yes, but also so much beauty in it." Julian's smile brightened, as if he had just uncovered a precious gem. "That's it. You don't need to hide. Let it flow, your emotions, your voice, stories of others. It creates a resonance that people crave." A wave of hope washed over her. The thought of stepping into the light, instead of hiding in the shadows, felt exhilarating. "What if I try and fail again?" "Then you try again until you soar," he replied. "Imagine a gathering, not just of art lovers, but of everyone who needs to heal, to express. Look around, these people want to support you. Don't let fear silence the stories waiting to be told." As she looked into the faces of her peers, she saw the flicker of belief reflected back. Many had traveled similar paths, fighting their own battles, needing a platform to rise. "Okay," she breathed, heart pounding with renewed courage. "Let us do it. Let us create a space for sharing. I'm ready to try." Cheers erupted from the audience, their encouragement fueling her resolve. She turned to Julian, feeling like a door had just swung wide open. "What's our first step?" "I'll introduce you to the right people, secure the venue, gather support. Together we'll craft this exhibition, from concept to execution. You're already shaping the narrative, you just need the stage." But as her mind buzzed with excitement, another thought nagged at her. Was she ready to open herself up to the world? The weight of vulnerability pressed against her chest again. "Julian, what if I share too much? What if instead of gaining support I draw judgment?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. His expression softened, a mix of empathy and encouragement dancing in his eyes. "You might be surprised. Sometimes it's the raw edges that connect us all. We need to dare to be human, to feel beauty lies in imperfection." Her heart raced. His words were a challenge, an invitation to step beyond her fears. Would she let the world see her scars? Would she dare? For the first time, the thought felt less like a burden and more like a promise as they dove deep into planning, building dreams brick by brick. A shadow flickered at the base of her thoughts, a whisper of the past she couldn't ignore. What would happen when old wounds surfaced? Would a past she fought hard to bury come back to haunt her? And just like that, doubts shadowed the euphoria of her initial excitement, leaving her with an aching question lingering in the air. What if facing her truth was the ultimate risk, and the only way to truly soar? Emily stared at the plans they had laid out on the table, her excitement clashing head-on with that familiar knot of anxiety. So many details flashed through her mind: venue, artists, themes. But the echoes of Julian's words lingered louder than any noise. Dare to be human. She took a deep breath and glanced at Julian. His confidence was infectious, propelling her into uncharted territory where courage and anxiety danced in a precarious harmony. What if I am ready? She questioned, the weight of those words heavier than she expected. We'll take it step by step, Julian assured her, his voice steady like a guiding hand. First, we need to gather more artists. The voices you want to share, they deserve a platform too. Let us start reaching out. With a nod, Emily felt a flicker of excitement ignite her resolve. She reached for her phone, scrolling through contacts as her heart raced. Who could she trust with her dreams? Who would understand the path she wanted to take? Emily? Julian's voice broke her train of thought. Do you want to host a small preliminary meeting? A casual gathering to share the vision? The idea sparked something within her. Yes. A cozy, intimate setting where everyone can share stories. She could picture it now, a small room filled with laughter and tears. A safe haven for vulnerabilities. A launchpad of unmatched beauty. As the details began to flow, Emily shot messages to friends, fellow artists, and even acquaintances from her past. Each message felt like a leap of faith, a tentative invitation into her newly shaped reality. But with each reply, her heart soared a little higher. The day of the gathering arrived, and as she entered the venue, her nerves pulsed through her veins. The walls were decorated in vibrant colors, reflecting the kind of energy she hoped to cultivate. Small groups chatted, laughter mingling with the scent of coffee and pastries. Emily wanted to capture this moment forever, the sense that anything was possible. Julian caught her eye from across the room, and she could see his encouraging smile as he began introducing her to others. This is Emily, the visionary behind today's gathering. Her courage to share her story is what brought us all here. With every introduction, she felt a rush of warmth. Each new face seemed familiar, built from the shared experiences they would soon explore together. Yet inside, doubt still lurked, whispering fears of inadequacy. As the conversations grew deeper, Emily stood before the group, her hands shaking slightly, heart pounding loudly in her ears. She paused, searching for the right words. I used to believe art was just mine to create, she began, her voice steadying as she continued. But I've realized it's a living tapestry, interwoven with all our stories. It's in our pain, our joy, our experiences together, we can create something powerful. Applause erupted, encouragement wrapping around her. It was an affirmation that ignited a spark in her core, but a gnawing worry still clawed at the edges of her mind. Had she shared enough? Would they truly feel connected to her truth? As she dove into deeper discussions, sharing ideas and experiences, the shadows of her past beckoned, promising to claw through the newfound light. She thought about her childhood, of a time and a place that had once shunned her dreams. The struggle of trying to emerge from that darkness loomed bigger than her efforts to move forward. Just as she started to feel the constriction of those memories, the door to the venue swung open. A newcomer stepped in, caught her breath, and almost stopped the room. A face she didn't expect to see. Emily, the name hung in the air like an unwelcome weight. It was her sister, the one person she thought had severed ties. The past flooded back. Would this be the judgment she feared? Unexpected tension crackled in the air, leaving Emily wondering, could this family connection bring more healing or only another layer of pain? The sight of her sister, Sasha, standing there stunning in a simple but elegant dress sent a jolt through Emily. Time felt frozen, as if the universe had momentarily stopped just to witness this moment. But the cheers and laughter around her faded, turning into a muted echo. Why are you here? Emily's voice came out sharper than intended, betraying the flurry of emotions swirling inside her. I wanted to see you, Sasha replied softly, her gaze shifting toward the gathering that blossomed around Emily. This looks amazing. I can't believe you finally did this. Emily could hear the hesitance in her sister's voice, a mixture of pride and regret. The memories of their childhood came rushing back, of Sasha's indifference, her distancing. But she wasn't ready to let those feelings peel back the layers of courage she had built. "Did you come to support me or to judge?" she questioned, guarding her heart like a fragile piece of glass. Sasha looked taken aback, her eyes growing wider. "Neither," she said quickly. "I came because I realized how much I've missed you in art. I never believed in you, Em. I'm here to change that." For a moment, Emily felt a flicker of hope rising in her chest, but it was quickly dampened by uncertainty. Was Sasha really here for her? Or was this just another fleeting moment before leaving again? But as she continued to converse with others in the room, she felt Sasha's presence lingering, quietly observing, and slowly, something began to shift. "Can I say something?" Sasha finally outspoken when the moment felt right. All eyes turned towards her, a mixture of curiosity and tension hanging heavily. "I don't have an artist's eye, but I know resilience when I see it. Watching my sister struggle to find her voice has made me realize how important it is to have people believe in you. Emily, you are brave. I'm so proud of you." Emily's heart raced, the warmth pooling in her chest as tears threatened to spill. Did her sister really just acknowledge her? The weight of her past was still present, yet in this moment, it felt like it was lifting ever so slightly. "Thank you," Emily managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. "It means more than you know." The crowd sighed collectively, embracing the enthusiasm and hope filling the air like a palpable force. If anything, this was proof to Emily, but also to everyone around them that healing relationships were possible, too. "Let me help you create something beautiful," Sasha said as she walked toward Emily, her arms casting a welcoming embrace. "Together we can tell our story." She didn't know if everything would come together seamlessly. But in that moment, surrounded by eager peers, a sister's rekindled hope, and fueled by each connection made, Emily felt the pieces of her life starting to align in a profound way. The room erupted in applause again, and Emily held up her hands, basking in the warmth of acceptance, and then looking straight into Julian's eyes, who nodded back at her. "Are you ready to take this further? To build something that not only reflects your journey but others as well?" With the strength of her sister's support and the backing of the community around her, she took a deep breath, something within her igniting brighter than ever. "Yes," she declared, her voice steady and full of determination. "Let us create a space where we can all share our truths. My art will reflect not just my experiences but those of everyone around me. Let us heal together." The crowd buzzed in excitement as plans began blossoming again, and Emily felt an explosion of joy coursing through her. This was it. The moment solidified a realization within her: the power of community could reshape everything, including her own heart. As they forged ahead with discussions about the exhibition, the energy soared. Artists began exchanging ideas and stories. "How can we transform our collective experiences into powerful displays?" someone asked. "Let us include workshops, where we can invite others to share their tales," another suggested. Ideas began to flow like vibrant paint across a canvas. Passionate, chaotic, and absolutely beautiful. Emily couldn't help but glance at Sasha again, who was now engaging with others, their laugh echoing, a far cry from the silence of years past. In that moment, she realized this was just as much Sasha's transformation as it was hers. For the first time, their shared love for art bridged gaps that once felt insurmountable. Emily could see the possibilities stretching infinitely, bright with hope and promise. Today marked more than just a beginning for her art; it signified new beginnings for their relationship, and perhaps a new chapter for the community as well. "Let us do this," she exclaimed, feeling the fire within her light up the path forward, one step at a time. Together, they dared to rise, rap songs playing in their hearts like an anthem of strength and resilience, and from that day forward, they were no longer just surviving but thriving. The supportive community, this was the true spirit of her art, the vision she wanted to infuse into every stroke of her brush. With the excitement hanging heavy in the air, the beauty of creation loomed large, and Emily was ready to embrace it all. As they forged into this new world together, she felt alive in a way she had never known, the past's shadows lit from within by the vibrant hues of a painted future. This was just the beginning. and she couldn't wait to see what would bloom next. Don't wait, not even one more second to share this powerful story. You need to subscribe now to catch all the inspiration flowing in future videos. Like now to feed the audience's desire for courageous journeys. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this incredible transformation. Share this with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting tale. Let us build a community of support together.